here in his house tonight seeking a blessing as we launch 2020. What a privilege we have to be 1 year closer to the coming of Jesus Christ. What an honor it is to be alive. The possibility does exist that the trumpet will sound and we could still very well be alive. Here it is. 2020 is possibly going to be one of the most trying years for any citizen alive anywhere on this earth. If you think 2019 was bad, can I give you some good news? 2020 is going to be worse. Because if we're honest with ourselves, we will admit that it matters not how much you build up. Somebody will come in and tear down. Someone will come in and tear apart. And there are times when even God's church will fall apart. Never destroyed, but fall apart. Never torn down, but broken.
Press on Palm Springs. I'd like you to take your bulletin. If you have it, it's so important. There's so much. I was looking at the bulletin last night on the internet, and then I looked at it this morning when I got it. There's so much information crammed into this bulletin that we don't have time to highlight everything. But we hope that you're going through it with a fine-tooth comb and looking at all that's taking place in your church. This is your church, beloved, and we want you to be updated constantly as to what is happening. There's a lot of events taking place, and we want you to be aware. So please read the bulletin. We take time out to welcome our first-time visitors, to welcome you. We take time out to highlight a few points in the bulletin.
Jesus, greater than all my sin. How shall my tongue describe it? Where shall its praise begin? Taking away my burden, setting my spirit free for the wonderful grace of Jesus.
But Palm Springs SDA is a unique congregation, wouldn't you say? I chose this congregation carefully. Here I can worship with Haitians and French and Antiguans, and come on, name them out to me. We can brush shoulders and meet for prayer, and we can speak to each other with differences of accents, but we serve the same God and we have the same purpose. So it would be unfair of me to highlight any one culture or country, but what is definitely to be said is what is happening in the USA.
But we learn that in stealing the words of my last sermon, that any day now, we could be going home. We're looking at the situation with the coronavirus. It's troubling, is it? To say the least. If you're not troubled, then I don't know where you're living. We'll talk about that this morning in our sermon.
To those who are watching online, we say, welcome to our worship experience. As I stand here before you today, I am saddened at the fact that this is what our experience has become. But I am celebrating, and I mean that. I'm celebrating the fact that even in the midst of our adversity, we can still find hope, and we can still trust and depend and believe that the God of the beginning is the same God that is with us and will be with us to the end. And so I thank you so much for joining us. I just checked in and I saw where quite a number of individuals are actually watching online, which is a very good thing. It means that you are focused still on the Spirit, not on the fear, but on your faith. And so for those, some who have come this morning and we've had to ask them to go back because of restrictions that are in place, for those who are now back at home and may be joining us, we want to thank you so much for joining us as well. And we apologize that we had to close the doors of the church this morning because we have to make sure we're protecting you and that we are also protecting ourselves. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. I am getting a lot of echo because there's nobody here. It's just three of us here. My dear wife decided that if we're going to die, she's going to die with me. And our AV director is here this evening. So I'd like to welcome all those who have joined us this evening. I am going to be struggling because I hate looking up to the cameras. But, you know, we are limited in what we can do today, but I've got to be looking up so you can see, or I can see you or look to you directly, and you can see that I'm looking in your eyes. Yes? Welcome to our prayer meeting this evening. Before we get any further, let me just share with you a few updates. We will not be doing a song service tonight because as much as I sing very well, I want you to focus on the message and not my great voice, okay? So I'm not going to be leading a song service tonight. We're going to spend some time sharing from the book Desire of Ages, chapter 39. That's where we are now. So I'm giving you some time to collect yourselves and to get that passage. The reading that we have for tonight, we have a few questions. It's about 18. We're not going to go through all of them, I don't think. But we're going to be spending some time studying the chapter, Give Ye Them to Eat, which has some relevancy to what we're talking about, what we're going through right now in the world. Also would like for you to know that there will be a section where there will be a pause, which will be a moment when you will be having a time of personal prayer. We believe in the power of prayer. As a matter of fact, as a church, we have encouraged our leadership teams and our different leaders to actually embark on creating a church within a church, meaning your ministry becomes your church. So in Palm Springs, we have probably now about 35 different pastors because we want all ministry leaders to consider themselves individually as a pastor. You are leading a flock, or every Sabbath school teacher, you are leading a flock. We want you to connect and reach out to your members in every single way possible.
I got a call from an old friend. We laughed about how we had changed, but I could tell things weren't going as well.
Descansamos y estamos en espera que usted se manifieste, Señor. Esperemos que mande su sanación a todos y que, Señor,
Frontline, whether you're a doctor, you're a CNA, whether you're a nurse, whatever your role is this morning, I'm standing in the gap for you this morning because I know with God all things are possible. Let's bow our head for prayer.
Good morning, boys and girls. As you all know, my name is Auntie Novi, and I'll be giving you your children's story this morning.
Happy Sabbath, everyone. Welcome to Palm Springs SDA Church, where we're broadcasting live from Lake Worth Beach, Florida. This week, I'm not by myself. I have someone with me, and I'm
I got a call from an old friend. We laughed about how we had changed, but I could tell things weren't going as well as he claimed. He tried to hide his feelings, but they only gave him away.
Good morning, brothers and sisters. How are you today? My name is Brother Paul, and I am part of the Personal Ministries Department.
Draw me close to you. Never let me go.
Hello, friends and church family. Welcome to the Thought of the Week. The topic for this week that I'd like to discuss with us is God as our provider.
Our guests this morning are Elder Paul Gale and Elder Olivia Brown. Before we begin, I'd like to ask Elder Paul Gale to offer a word of prayer.
Thank you, Pastor.
Dear church family, I just want to share a few words with you. Number one, thank you for being there for Jesus. Thank you for representing Jesus. Thank you for being the ambassadors of God in your community.
Hello, Palm Springs family. Greetings to you. We're so happy that you're able to join us, and I'm so happy to share with you something that we're going to do for the very first time ever in the history of our church. We will be having a virtual
You reach my friend. You're the only one who can. Lord, I know you love him. Help him understand. Can you reach my friend? You're the rejoicing that will be when we all see Jesus. We'll sing and shout victory. Oh, when we all get to hear, what a day of rejoicing that will be. When we all see Jesus, we'll sing and shout the victory.
Well, good day to you. My name is Omar Palmer, and I'm the pastor here at the Palm Springs Seventh-day Adventist Church. I'm so excited to introduce you, everyone, to someone who has become a very near and dear friend of our church.
We are here at Palm Springs SDA Church, and they have done a program for Thanksgiving, and now they're doing a program for the children for Christmas. And so we are partnering, working together to give some, gifts for the kids and some money for the parents who are, poor. And so Restore a Child, this is what we do. We are
Lord, I know that you love him, so help him understand. Can you reach my friend? Bring his searching to an end. Help him give his heart to you.
We thank Thee each morning for a newborn day, where we may work the fields of new mown hay. We thank Thee for the sunshine and the air that we breathe, O Lord. We thank Thee. Thank Thee for the rivers that run all day. Thank thee for the little birds that sing along the way. Thank thee for the trees and the deep blue sea, O Lord, we thank thee. Oh yes, we thank thee, Lord, for every flower that blooms, birds that sing, fish that swim, and the light of the moon. We thank thee every day as we kneel and pray, that we were born with eyes to see these things. Thank thee for the fields where the clover is grown. Thank thee for the pastures where cattle may roam. Thank thee for thy love so pure and free, O Lord, we thank thee. Oh yes, we thank thee, Lord, for every flower that blooms, birds that sing, fish that swim, and the light of the moon. We thank thee every day as we kneel and pray, that we were born with eyes to see these things. Yes, we thank thee for the fields where the clover is grown. Thank thee for the pastures where cattle may roam. Thank thee for thy love so pure and so free, O Lord, we thank thee. We thank thee each morning for a newborn day, where we may work the fields of new mown hay. We thank thee for the sunshine and the air that we breathe.